Right, this is part 2 of the Maya bouncing ball tutorial, and in part 1 we covered all of the blocking. We've blocked out a ball that gradually decreases as it bounces. We've decreased the height of it in the graph editor. We've adjusted all of our slow ins and slow outs using stepped mode so that we get a clear representation of spacing, which is the dotted line, and timing, which is the solid line. And then we've also slowly dropped the amount of time between each bounce. So it took 10 frames to go down here, it took 8 frames to come back up here, it took 8 frames to go down here, it took 6 frames to come up here, it took 6 frames to go down, it took 4 frames to come up here, it took 4 frames to go down there, 2 up, 2 down, 1 up and 1 down. So you can see that gradual decrease. Just play it back to have a look. So the only bit that doesn't look fantastic is that one at the end. And I'd say the reason for that is likely because what we've done is we've dropped 2 every time we've gone through. We went from 10 to 8 to 6 to 4 to 2. And then we should have gone to 0 really, but instead we went to 1. And I think all I can do is just try and nudge that last bounce down a little bit. Yeah. You might want to, maybe it's a case of going in there and adding a tiny little bit of a vibration at the end like that. Hopefully this reassures you that animation is one of those trial and error games that you never really know quite what the right thing to do is. Best thing to do, best attitude to have in animation is just gotta just slowly figure it out as you go along. You're not going to know the answer straight away. Did that look any better? Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. Anyway, we'll move on to splining. So I'm happy with my block through. I think it looks decent. Now it's time to spline. There's loads and loads of ways to spline something. I'm going to tell the computer to go to 70. So to spline, I'll hold down the Shift key and left click and drag over the timeline. I'll right click and I'll go to tangents and I'll hit auto. There are other splining options up here, but we won't go through them now. There we go. And auto has filled in all these details for us. Beautiful. Let's have a look and see how it plays. Ah, not bad. Not bad at all. There are a few imperfections in there, so let's just have a quick look. Let's first of all have a look at this one here. So according to the spline, the ball is falling, 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 and then it slows down just before it comes in here. You can see because the line is going to a flat. Now balls, when they're falling to the ground, they don't slow down. They just keep going at full speed. So I'd like this handle here to go straight at that. And there are 2 ways I can do that. I can break it, grab this, point it like that, which is just a left click, and do the same with that one there. Have it fire straight up, bang, straight up in that direction, so that it's literally coming down, and you can see it almost looks like a ball, doesn't it? The little keys can be the ball. It comes down and bounces straight back up. Looks much better. The other way to do it, if we have a look over here, I'll just hit the F key to focus on that frame that I got. I can press this one here, which is linear, and that will do that for me. It'll just make it a sharp point. Linear just tells this frame to point directly at that one, and this frame, this handle, to point directly at that one there. Do you see how they're moving together? That's because they're currently one handle. I can split it up over here by clicking that, and they become 2 separate handles, so that I can alter them and have them, you know, it just gives me a bit more control over the in and the out tangent. I'm going to do it the easy way with these ones as well. Let's hit F on that, hit the line, there we go, very good. This one as well. And if I hold down Alt and middle click and drag, it'll move me around like this. And I'm going to hit that on them as well, there we go. Beautiful. Let me hit play. I hope you can see the difference. I can. Another bit of housekeeping I think I'll do is here. It's going up, it seems to have a bit of a dip, and then it gets to there. So clearly that spacing wasn't great. Let's put that up there instead like that. And I'll do that with that too. Just put it up like that. There, that's perfect. That's perfect. That's not as good as it could be. I think I'll just drag that a bit more to create a bit more of an arc. Whoops. A bit more of an arc. That's not sharp, so do that so it's sharp. Must have missed that before. That one's not bad. A little bit more. And that one is fine. This will be such a small move that you just won't be able to tell anyway. So I'm quite happy with the way that looks. It's splined really well, and there's not really much I would do to that now. So I'm quite happy with my bouncing ball. I quite like that it's got a nice bouncy vibe to it, even though I haven't added any kind of squashy, stretchiness to it. Just a word about splines. So there's plenty of people that rightfully say there's no need to go stepping all this through like we have done, when instead you can just put a frame there, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you can just put it at the top, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, have it come back down again, and then just get the computer to do it for you. You know, there's no need to go blocking through all this frame by frame. It's a waste of time. For an experienced animator, that's right. You know, it is a waste of time to go stepping through. If I was doing a bouncing ball on a project, I probably would do it like this. I'd probably use the curves to get it right. It's not very good for intuition, and it's not very good for learning. I've now just quickly drawn out a graph editor curve of a bouncing ball, and I've very much used everything that I've picked up from blocking it out the first time to get this looking good. And you can see the original there, and then you can see the graph editor curve one there. Now the bit that you won't get if you try and do the graph editor curve one straight away, the bit that you won't get is the learning curve, where you figure it out. I've used the trial and error, and I've been able to roughly work out what the correct timing is, what the correct spacing is, what the best height is, because I've literally been in there and I've been thinking about it when I did the block through. If I just jumped straight into the curves, I probably would have had one thing in mind, and that is to hurry up and get it done as quickly and as easily as possible. I'll just roughly pull things around and hopefully I'll get it right. I'll end up settling for less, and although I'll probably be done quicker, I don't think the outcome would be as good. You can't, or you shouldn't anyway, skip all of the thinking behind animation for the sake of getting it done quickly. So that is how to bounce a ball in Maya, from blocking all the way through to splining, and hopefully that'll be a good taster.